Hello everyone and welcome to Kiki Crochet. In this video tutorial we're going to learn how to arm knit step by step this beautiful infinity scarf. Now this scarf, once you do the first one, all the other ones are going to be made in about 10 to 15 minutes, so it's the best solution for presents, especially for Christmas, because all of us have so many presents to make, right? So I'm using only two skeins of the seriously chunky yarn. We're going to see the yarn in a few seconds, and you can choose to make your infinity scarf two colors. You can make it gray blue or cream green, any color choices that you prefer. We want thick yarn, and we're only going to be using two skeins, and we're using almost the whole yarn. We're only going to have a little left over in the end. So let's go ahead and see how to start. The yarn that we're going to use is called Seriously Chunky. These are English yarns. It's 100 grams, 48 meters each skein. This is chunky yarn. It's for 10-12 knitting needles. Okay, even though we're going to arm knit, if you're interested, they're made with 10-12. So it's 100% acrylic, 100 grams and 48 meters each skein. And back here you'll find all the information that you need on how to wash, etc. Okay, so let's start. Now this is the first time that I'm using white background. I would like your opinions, if you prefer white or black. Okay, so we're about to start. I took out the tail from each skein because I'm going to be using both skeins in the same time. Because I want to make my my infinity scarf to be very nice and comfortable. So in order to begin with, I am going to separate a total of 4 meters of yarn. Okay, I want to leave a long tail. So just open wide your hands for 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I left a tail over here, and right here is the yarn that's coming out of my skeins. Okay, so in the front it's the tail that I separated. So grab both ends to make a loop, and with your hand turn around once and grab the yarn that you separated for the tail, and we've created a big loop. And it's the first loop that I'm going to take through my hands. And I want a total of 15, so I want to make 14 more. So this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to be using my index finger and my thumb. Okay, with my index finger, I'm going to be holding the tail that I separated, and with my thumb, I'm going to be holding the yarn that's coming out through my skeins. And I'm going to have my right hand a little downwards so I can see the loops on my fingers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking my right hand from the bottom to the top on my thumb right here, and then from the top to the bottom through my index finger. Okay, so from the bottom to the top from my thumb, and around from the top to the bottom in my index finger. And I'm creating a new loop that I'm going to be pulling through my arm. Okay, so my index finger is holding the tail that I separated. My thumb is holding the yarn that's coming out of my skeins, and with the rest of my fingers I'm holding both ends. Okay, so from the bottom to the top on my thumb, and from the top through the bottom on my index finger, and I've created a new loop. Okay, so you can tighten a little bit. Again, the same step, from the bottom through the top on my thumb, and from the top to the bottom in my index finger. Third loop. Okay, from the bottom to the top on my thumb, and from the top to the bottom in my index finger. So far I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, from the bottom to the top on my thumb and go around from the top to the bottom in your index finger. 5 from the top, from the bottom to the top on my thumb, and now I'm going to go from the top to the bottom right here on my index finger. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I want 9 more loops. Okay, 6 from the bottom to the top on our thumb, and from the top to the bottom on our index finger. 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14, and our last loop, 15. Okay, so the tail that's left over, we're not going to bother with this anymore. So we're done knitting with our tail, so we're not going to knit this anymore. Now we're only going to be using the yarn that's coming out of our skeins. Okay, now from the side that we have the loops on our arm, that's the side that I'm going to be holding the yarn on my hand as well. So I have the loops on my right hand, so I'm going to be holding the yarn on my right hand as well. And what I'm going to do is, by holding the yarn, I'm going to take out the first loop. And I'm going to take it through my left hand. Again, grab the yarn with your right hand, pull out the next loop, and put the new loop on your left hand. Again, the yarn on your right hand, take out the next loop, and put the new loop on your left hand. Take out the next loop and put the new loop on your left hand. Take out the next loop and put the new loop on your left hand. Take out the next loop and put the new loop on your left hand. Take out the next loop and put the new loop on your left hand. So you're doing the same exact thing up until you finish all of your loops. Okay, take out the next loop, put the new loop on your left hand. Take out the next loop and put the new loop on your hand. Take out the next loop and put the new loop on your left hand. Take out the next loop and put the new one on your left hand. Okay, so we do the same exact thing up until we take out all of the loops from our right hand. And this is what you're going to be doing every time the loops are on your right hand. Always hold the yarn with your right hand, take out the loop, and put the new one on your left hand. Okay, so tighten up the last loop a little bit. And this is what we have. Okay, now we're going to start the next row. And as you see, we have the loops on our left hand, so that means that I'm going to have to be holding the yarn on my left hand as well. So by holding the yarn on my left hand, take out the first loop and put the new one on your right hand. It's very, very easy and simple. Once you finish your first infinity scarf with arm knitting, the next ones you're going to be making them in 10 minutes, in no time. Okay, so take out the, again, hold the yarn with your right hand, with your left hand, sorry. Take out the loop and put the new one on your right hand. Take out the next loop and put the new one on your right hand. Take out the next loop and put the new one on your right hand. Take out the next loop and put the new one on your right hand. Continue repeating the same step up until you finish knitting through all of your loops. So you want to make sure you're not pulling too tight because you want to be able to move the loops on your arm. And the last loop. Now here you want to tighten it a little bit. So we finished knitting through the loops on our left hand and we pulled them through, we pulled them on our right hand, okay? So this is what we have so far. So now I want to take out the loops from our right hand and again knit them through and put them on our left hand. So what I'm going to do is again I'm going to grab the yarn on my right hand because I have the loops on my right hand and follow the same steps. Take out the loop and put the new one on your left hand. Take out the next loop and put the new one on your left hand. Take out the next loop and put the new one on your left hand. And follow this process up until you knit through all 15 loops. Okay, and we're almost done. And this is what we have so far. Okay, see how we have created huge loops because we are arm knitting, but this is going to fall very nicely when we join together both sides to create our infinity scarf. So now I'm going to continue off camera up until I finish my cowl, and I'm finishing my cowl right before both of my skeins end up. I want to have when I do the last row, that means that I have a little more of my yarn left on my skeins, so I can do the finishing row where I close up all the loops to close up my work, okay? When I reach that point, I'm going to turn the video back on and mention how long my cowl is at that point. So keep repeating the same steps. When the loops are on your left hand, hold the yarn that's coming out of the skeins on your left hand and put the new loops on your right hand. When the loops are on your right hand, hold the yarn on your right hand, pull out each loop, and put the new loop on your left hand, okay? So when I reach the spot where we're about to close our cowl, I'm gonna turn my video back on. I finished knitting my fancy scarf, and so far from here, without counting the loops that I have on my hand, from here up to the end, it's a total of 66 centimeters. And now we're gonna do the finishing row. So when you open it up, this is how your work is going to look. Okay, so now we're going to do our finishing row where we're going to close up all the loops. So I'm going to bring the right loops on my left hand, and on every loop I'm going to be closing up. So I'm holding the yarn on my right hand because the loops are on my right hand. Take out the first loop and put it on your left hand. Okay. Take out the next loop, the second loop, and put it on your left hand. Now, in order to close those two loops, grab the left loop, the first one that you put on your hand, take it over the right loop, and take it out of your hand. And we just closed one loop. You do not want to tighten it very much. We want to have big loops to match the ones that we have in the beginning of our project. Okay, now by holding the yarn on our right hand, take out the next loop, put the new one on your left hand, take the left loop, take it over the new one that you just put in your arm, and we've closed the next loop. Take the next loop out of your right hand, put it on your left hand, take the left loop, take it over the right one, and we closed this loop as well. Now, take out the next loop, put the new one on your left hand, take out, so you always want to take out the loop that's on the back, okay? Take the back loop and take it over your hand, and we've closed that loop as well. Take out the next loop, put the new one on your left hand, take the back loop over the front one, and take it out of your hand. Take the next loop from your right hand, put the new one on your left, take the back loop over the front one, and we close the loop as well. Take the next loop from your arm and put it on your left hand, take the back loop over the front one, and close that stitch as well. Take out the next loop from your right hand, put it on your left, take the back loop over the front one, and we've closed that stitch as well. Take the next loop from your right hand, put it on your left one, take the back loop over the front, and we've closed that stitch as well. Take the next loop from your right hand, put the new one on your left, take the back loop over the front, and we've closed that stitch as well. Okay, so do the same step up until we're left with only one loop on our left hand. And now I'm left with only one loop on my hand. So now that we're left with only one loop, cut your yarn long enough because you're going to need the tail to join the two sides together, okay? So this is the last loop that I have on my hand. Grab the yarn and pull it through the last loop and make a knot. So this is what we have so far. This is the side that we just closed, and this is the beginning of our infinity scarf right down here. So we're going to join those two sides together. So what I'm going to do is, you can start by making a knot with the two ends of your work. Okay. Now with my hand, I am going to be taking both ends through the stitches right here in the beginning of my work. So this is the side that I started, and right here is the end. Okay. So take both ends and see how we have the both sides joined together. Take both ends and take them through both sides to join them together. Now find the next loop and grab both sides and take the yarn through both sides, so you're joining the sides together. Now find a next loop. We want to have loops on both sides. Take the yarn and take it through both loops, and this is what we want to be doing up until the end to join the two sides together. I've completed joining. Okay, and what I'm going to do now, this is where I did my last stitch for the joining part. So I'm going to take my yarn again through the same stitch, and I'm going to create a knot just to make it a little more secure. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this yarn, and in order to weave it in, I'm going to take it through those top loops over here. Okay, in order to weave in my ends, and this end as well, just take it through those top loops over here. Okay, to weave in our ends. I weaved in all of my ends, and this is how our infinity scarf looks like. So thanks for watching, please subscribe, and if you like the video, please press like and leave a comment. Thanks again, bye bye!